Hi everybody, this is a Gruul ramp deck that wants to go over the top of our opponents and play gigantic artifact creatures in the mid to late game. So I picked up this deck list from the Japanese tournament scene. I always love to look at the deck lists that they're creating over there. There's a wide variety of metagames, small tournaments, regional things, and I'd kind of just like the different perspective on how to build decks for this game. So taking a look at this deck in particular, looking at the top end, we've got 3 Cityscape Leveler and 4 Skitterbeam Battalion. The Skitterbeam Battalion in particular is okay for the prototype cost. You pay 5 and you get 3 of those 2/2s that have haste on them. Not too bad, but where they really shine is in the late game when we can actually afford to pay the full 9 and get 3 copies of its nice 4/4 body. Up at the top end, you see I've got 2 copies of Rust Goliath over here. I think there's like a green mythic that you sacrifice itself and it gives you an even bigger golem or something like that. So this is kind of in place of those. I'm pretty sure I actually have a copy or 2 of those now, but this is what I had at the time of filming these videos. And it's just another beefy body that you can land pretty reliably, and it's another thing that we can copy with some of our low-end spells, which I'll get to in a second. So how do we make it up there? How do we get to 8, 9, 10 mana? Well, I'm glad you asked. So we've got the Mightstone and Weakstone, which normally doesn't show its face in too many red and green decks, but I love it in here. There's no sign of Urza, but honestly, we don't need him. The Mightstone and Weakstone comes down, and we get to immediately draw 2 cards, or give target creature -5/-5 until end of turn. This hits a lot of things in Standard, and it hits Sheoldred, which makes it a personal favorite of mine. Then when it's done doing its dirty work, it taps to add 2 colorless mana that acts kind of like Power Stones. So what that does is contributes to our mana count for our high-end creatures here. Love this. We've also got 2 copies of Visions of Phyrexia. It's a 4-mana enchantment that lets us exile the top card of our library, and we can play that during our turn. Now, if we don't play something from exile, we get a free Power Stone, so you can kind of use this as a little ramp spell, or just as a way to see extra cards off the top of your deck if, things have been cleared out with a board wipe and you're trying to recover a little bit. So I really like this in here. It's nice. So some of our low-end things to help us make it to the mid and late game, we've got 4 copies of Topiary Stomper, gets us a land, comes with a nice vigilant body, and 4 copies of Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which is a fantastic card all around, but helps us ramp with the treasure tokens and can create copies of our late game creatures. And then another thing to help us survive, we've got 3 Brotherhood's End over here, 4 copies of Reckoner Bankbuster. This mostly draws us a card. And then 3 copies of Abrade, hits a lot of dangerous artifacts, and 3 damage hits a lot of dangerous creatures in Standard. So this is nice to have in here too. A nice bonus with the Bankbuster is that we can get this down on turn 2, follow it up with a Topiary Stomper on turn 3, and immediately crew the Bankbuster with the Topiary Stomper that usually can't attack yet. So it's another way to get in some quick damage and get our opponent low enough where a hasty Skitterbeam Battalion in the late game, or perhaps an unearthed Cityscape Leveler, can actually finish somebody off by surprise. So this one was pretty fun, kind of got me out of my comfort zone a little bit. And had some interesting games with this on the Standard ladder. So let's go over and see some of these games. I'll be with you for some commentary as usual, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Okay, this looks keepable for our red-green ramp deck. Got a lot of Skitterbeams in our hand, a lot of high-end stuff. This Abrade is at least going to buy us a little bit of time, but most of the rest of the deck is ramp, so hopefully we can pick up something helpful here pretty soon. Just a Bankbuster to ensure we get some extra draws in while we figure out what our opponent's doing. Looks like Esper, so I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Let's keep this Abrade up and decide if we want to Abrade or draw on our opponent's turn. Still nothing. What are you cooking over there? Let's draw and see what else we can get. Need to keep hitting those land drops on our way up here. Yeah, I guess Proving Ground makes sense. I was trying to think if we could draw with Bankbuster and luck into a green mana source. Play that Topiary Stomper, but this is fine. Still nothing from the opponent by turn 4. Well, I think we got to draw. We could be in for a world of trouble. They partition the Bankbuster. Okay, well maybe they just have a lot of removal. We haven't been doing anything too threatening over here either. Get a couple of lands though, which is nice. Let's see if this draws out the counterspell. No, it just slides right through. Well, let's draw. Fill that hand back up. Unfortunately, I have to discard a little something. We're good on lands for now. We can say goodbye to that Rockfall Vale. And now we're at 7. We'll be at 8 mana altogether next turn. Well on our way to playing these full-price prototypes.
Now you've done it. That's coming. Guards, to me.
Opponent with a Wanderer. Excuse me. Opponent with a Wanderer. We can Abrade this Samurai out of the way and still make a small Skitterbeam. And then we'll still have a big one left over to back it up if we want to. Play this Bankbuster. No, I think it's Prototype here. There's not a whole lot of interaction they have at 1 mana, so... Okay, gets cut down, but we still get 2 copies. Guarantees the Wanderer is down. And we'll just get in for 2 with the other one. Okay, not the best, but not the worst. And we can pay full price for the battalion next turn. Opponent thinking a little bit. Into a farewell. Didn't seem like a hard choice, but never mind. Well, in that case, we've lost our ramp, so we're going to have to build back up a little bit before we can play this battalion. I think we need to do Stomper here. And then we could either go Bankbuster or Fable, but Fable is far more powerful. Yeah, I think that works. Alright, so building up a medium-sized board here. Opponent finally getting to use those cut downs they've probably been holding on to for a little while. We get a cheap Bankbuster, but I don't think we need the extra. Brotherhood's End I don't see being great against our opponent. Yeah, I think that's the way. We draw another Fable and a Boseiju, which could have a target, but we may need to just keep climbing up with some ramp here. Yep. Could get countered, could get removed, but opponent's getting low on cards, so if we slide this through, we might be okay. Alright, we do. That's 16 coming across. Another Wanderer? Nope, a Ganjo. Okay, we get our opponent to 5. Scoured Barrens brings them to 6. Another Wanderer. They can exile 1 Skitterbeam if they want to, and that leaves us with 8 power on the board, though.
My judgment is fine.
Our Fable flips, but can't do anything yet. Alright, well, let's see if we can finish this game, and we can. Alright, good game. Okay, not great, but it's passable. Another game with our red-green artifact ramp deck. Opponent with Aspara's Headquarters while we build up our mana. Get this Bankbuster going for ourselves. Field of Ruin to complement our Reliquary. Well, Fable will be very helpful here. An unchecked Goblin can really help us get a few treasures going while we wait to find our big prototype creatures. Opponent gets a Plains with that Restoration over there. I think we can safely get rid of these cards. Don't see a lot of use for Field of Ruin. A lot of the... Hold on, I want to think what I'm doing here. That will give us a Power Stone since we didn't play anything from exile. A lot of these decks I've been looking at from these Japanese tournaments, they seem to carry a lot of Field of Ruin. It makes me wonder if a lot of people are running things like Mishra's Foundry or just annoying lands, because a lot of these deck lists seem to want to have Field of Ruin to answer something. But I don't really see that reflected on the best of one ladder so much, so it's an interesting choice. All right, well, opponent has Wandered our Shaman. We get the flipped over Fable. We get the old reflection of Kiki Jiki here. I think we can Fable here. Helps us build up our board a little bit. We can also crew up this Bankbuster since we've got a few things on the board now, and take out this Wanderer.
Back to wandering.
Okay, I think that's good for now. We've got the Visions that'll let us see an extra card every turn. We've got this Leveler in hand, and we should be able to start copying things on our next turn. Opponent with a Redeemer, huh? So definitely going to start trying to make small things bigger here. Yep, Brotherhood's End not going to help us. We already got a Fable going. I don't think we need a third. Let's get in with this. Make a treasure. Kind of hide how much mana we can make. Alright, and they block with that. Makes a token, triggers the Redeemer, so the token gets counters. And I think we've got enough for this. Yep, should be enough for the Leveler. And we've got one left over to copy the Leveler so we can actually go and get an attack in with that one. Right? Copy Leveler. The copy gets haste, so we won't get the trigger on it arriving, but we will get the trigger on it attacking. Oh, but except we already passed through our attack phase, so good in theory. All right, well, good news, the Redeemer is gone, so these tokens are much less threatening. Smells like a board wipe coming in, so let's at least save some damage. Opponent depopulates. I think we'll just let that go. It was a solid plan. We just needed a second attack phase, that's all. Alright, Visions shows us a Field of Ruin. We get a Mightstone and Weakstone. And we've got a Reflection of Kiki Jiki for next turn. So I think here we do Mightstone and Weakstone. Draw some cards. Beef up mana production. We draw into a second one. Let's draw with this since we can't crew it up just yet. And we draw into Skitterbeam Battalion. All right, opponent, what do you got for us? Oh, a Defiler, okay. All right, it's big, but it's not the worst. And actually, that might fit perfectly under this second Weakstone copy we've got here. All right, well, play land. I guess we probably should have played the land from our hand. We'll unearth this. All right, we did this pre-combat, so we're doing this right this time. Now we copy the Leveler. Oh, but they're going to flash in a Leyline Binding. Interesting. All right, so that means the ability has nothing to copy. All right, well, this game is going to go on slightly longer than I had hoped for. Elspeth. Alright, so I can see we're all about token production over here.
Coming, I'll be on the front lines. I know there's a hero inside
Elspeth puts a counter on the Defiler, so that's going to get it out of range of our Mightstone, Weakstone. And we will go down to 10. Let's see what we can find with this Bankbuster. We kind of need a little more help here. Oh, good. And there's Leveler again. Yes. Okay. So Leveler can probably help us out with this. We'll get the trigger from this one that we cast from hand. And I think it makes sense to get rid of Binding first. But we won't get the trigger because it was already... Okay. Fun with triggers today on the old M. Bacon's channel. All right, well, we can at least copy one of them and make a hasty copy. And crew up this Bankbuster with one of the other ones that can't attack. I think with our attack trigger, we'll get rid of the Defiler and send the Bankbuster, I guess, over at Elspeth. Let me think about this. No. If we... All right, so we're going to attack Elspeth. If we use the trigger on the Defiler, then the trampling Leveler can hit Elspeth even if they block, and then we'll just have a spare Bankbuster going at the face. Opponent is out of cards. 2 tokens left on the board. And we have 2 Levelers plus an active Reflection. We should be able to Skitterbeam as well for some surprise damage pretty soon. All right, opponent Void Rends. Destroys 1 Leveler, which we can't counter, but now we can unearth it. And all right, opponent scoops it up. Good game. All right, here with an acceptable hand for our green and red ramp deck. We get hit with Dreams of Steel and Oil right off the bat. Takes our Bankbuster, but opponent knows that we've got 4 Fables coming down the road here. 4 Fables, 3 Fables, and another Bankbuster. You can take one, but the shuffler says we will have a Bankbuster this game. All right, Brotherhood's End. Pretty easy Fable here. So opponent making Power Stones. Really ramping it up there. Okay. So is this a question of, we going to see some Urza, or are we going to see some big prototype things from our opponent here? Brotherhood's End not going to be useful. Get a feeling we're going to be dealing with big stuff, so let's keep on Fabling. At this point, I think we want to try to dig for Leveler if we can, since even our Mightstone is probably not going to be able to hit much. Ooh, Static Net. Don't see much of this one. So they remove one of our Fables with Static Net, but not the one that's going to flip over. So we will have access to that next turn, assuming they don't remove it. We've got enough to crew up this Bankbuster, or if we want the treasure from our 1 Shaman, we could just go in with that. Well, let's crew it up with the Summoning Sick ones and our Shaman. We get the best of both worlds. Okay, opponent with another Stern Lesson. That'll net them another Power Stone and some cards. What do they got over here? Oh, a Flesh Gorger down there. Interesting. All right, and they'll cut down our Reflection. I think we can safely get rid of these lands. Our Shamans are going to give us some treasures. Oh, cool, and there's a Leveler. All right, so we're at 6 mana. We could level post-combat if we want to. And maybe hit that Static Net. Let's give that a try. Because if they manage to destroy this, we could at least unearth it. And we've got a Reflection of Kiki Jiki coming down the line, so we might be in a spot where we could start copying the leveler again. And crew this up. We've already gone to combat. It's a big oops right there. I don't think we'll be punished too hard for it, but that's fine. Alright, so opponent levels our leveler. Follows that up with an Urza. Okay, so they're probably going to have enough mana to meld those next turn unless we do something about that right now. Well, we can get rid of Brotherhood's End. That's not going to hit anybody in this game. We'll get rid of their Power Stones, but I think we're kind of past that point in the game already. We can Abrade their leveler, though. Alright, so we each have a leveler in the grave. This can hit Urza. They're going to be able to unearth their own leveler, but I'm not sure what they would hit of ours. Probably our reflection, if anything. So let's get in here. We're trading 2 damage for an extra treasure. But I think we've got enough mana to do most of whatever we want next turn. So they can unearth leveler. Oh, they go for the Flesh Gorger because they have a grasp for the reflection. Oh, and they just wrap it up. All right. Good game. Okay, back with another one here. Finally some good mana for this green-red ramp deck. We've got all of our colors. Should be able to cast this Topiary Stomper right on time at 3. And we'll see if we can make it all the way up to 10 for our big prototype creatures in hand. Opponent on blue, white, and black, showing some Esper colors. This could get hit with a Make Disappear, but I think we just got to go for it anyway. Only other thing we could be doing is putting down a Bankbuster, which I have a feeling they'll make disappear anyway, so... Oh, and it makes it through. Okay, good sign, good sign. Immediately destroy evil on the Stomper. Interesting. All right, well, we still get the effect if we can manage to grab this mountain. And that Stomper wasn't going to attack for a while. We didn't even have a Bankbuster down to take advantage of it. Opponent with a Bankbuster of their own. I wonder if they're running some low-cost removal over there to handle a lot of these aggressive decks, but we're trying to go over the top of all that. So let's try to keep drawing. We'll keep this Abrade up for a moment. I don't think we're going to hit much with it. Keep our options open. We can draw, destroy this Bankbuster that the opponent's got, or hit this Fairy Vandal before it gets out of control. Could try to Mightstone it as well. Our opponent uses their remaining 2 mana to draw, and that triggers the Vandal, puts a counter on it. Let's just get rid of this now. It's not guaranteed that we'll draw a land. Yep, okay, we would have drawn a Fable. Could have drawn something else after that, but my decks love to keep mana from me at inopportune times, so... Opponent up to 5 mana. So they look to be taking advantage of draw effects. What else could we be working with? So we got Fairy Vandals. Probably works well with the new Teferi. So they'll immediately trigger that with Bankbuster. And we draw into Leveler. I think we can safely discard it. And probably our green fellow here. We get another Abrade. Still no land for these Weakstones, but if we attack, we could do that. Let's try to bluff here, maybe. Make it seem like we're trying to get them. Nope, they just block anyway. Yeah, we'll let it go. That's all right. I think getting down this Mightstone, Weakstone, that's really going to go a long way towards this deck's game plan. Oh, we can afford to activate Bankbuster. Excellent. Draw into a land. So now we are up to, what, 7 mana altogether? One more, we can unearth this Leveler. One more after that, we've got full price Skitterbeam Battalion. Alright, unfortunately just a tap land for us. We flip our Kiki Jiki, and we've got this Abrade in hand if they want to start getting cute with that Bankbuster over there. So let's start laying the groundwork for next turn. Play this tap land. Use our Power Stone to activate Bankbuster. We draw into another one. Yeah, let's lay this down. I don't think it makes sense to lay the cheaper prototypes of our Skitterbeams. And this way we can upgrade that Bankbuster if they want to start attacking with it. These Mightstones are nice for drawing cards in this deck. Alright, our opponent going a little bit wide with some reinforcements. Another land. Alright, so a Rafine. Well, that's going to kind of allow them to grow this little army of tokens that they're building up here. Let's Abrade the Bankbuster before it can go to combat. I get the sense they're going to put counters on some of the small things anyway. Alright, they'll attack, get to connive for 2. Could grow one of these things to outpace our Fable and prevent us from blocking that one. But I think we're safe to block whichever one they don't put the counters on. Well, they'll have to put counters on nothing. Probably getting rid of some extraneous lands. Alright, and we're looking great for mana right now, so... let's make sure we can do this. Leveler, that leaves us with 1 to make a copy, so we can do that. I think this is safer. If we play a duplicate Mightstone, maybe? This is more math than I'm used to. So let's make a duplicate Mightstone. Luckily, we can use the 2 mana from the original to play this second copy. I think we can use this to get rid of that Rafine over there. Because there's a chance that... sorry, I gotta make sure I can afford all this. They do reinforcements in response. I don't think that matters. Okay. Alright, I feel better about that. Let's draw here, and we can really start going off next turn. Unless, now I think we can get in, we can corrupt this Bankbuster with this token. And can we copy this? It's non-legendary. Will it still be a creature or just an artifact? Nope. Alright. Punting for science. It's going to be a new series on this channel. Interesting, though, that we get the alternate art on that. Okay, well, opponent Eganjo's our original anyway. Our beautiful copy goes away. Hopefully our opponent can't buff up this team over here. That's a lot of little creatures. But if they do try to get in, we could surprise them with a Skitterbeam attack. Alright, just 2. Takes us to 16. Opponent holding on to 3 cards here. Alright. Options. We could Brotherhood's End and get rid of everything, or we could Skitterbeam and try to just force our way past it. Well, they've got Trample, so I think that's the way to go. We've got 1 mana left to copy something. So let's copy the original. We don't get any more because it's not cast. And then we can crew up the Bankbuster with this pilot token here. So we're all together coming across for 20. Going to have to block at least one thing and use maybe some removal if they can. Oh, an opponent just scoops it up. All right. Well, good game. All right, I think I got time for at least one more here. Doing some red-green ramp, getting up to these big artifact creatures with the help of the Mightstone and Weakstone, plus a little bit of Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Get some treasures thrown in there. Opponent on blue and white. Could be a couple of things. Haven't seen any cards from our opponent yet other than lands. Visions of Phyrexia would have been great here, but I think we can just... Alright, Stern Lesson. So this could be a more Urza-based deck with the Mightstone and Weakstone as well. Tezzeret. Okay. You gonna draw, or are we gonna make a creature? Makes a creature. Alright. I can respect Tezzeret. Nice middle-of-the-road Planeswalker for blue. Very on theme. Well, I think, rather than take that damage, we can't hit Tezzeret with Abrade, so we might as well just destroy this Power Stone. Slow them down a little bit, too, since we are not keeping the fastest hand at the moment. I think it's Reliquary, and we could just do a lowly, regular red Skitterbeam, but Brotherhood's End... I don't think it's going to have a whole lot of other targets. Could be wrong. Oh, Karn. Okay. I had a deck like this. It was actually kind of fun, and it really built around Power Stones, and we ended up embleming with Karn. But we're definitely going to need to draw a little something here, but I think we can wait on this second Brotherhood's End. I would really love to get up to 9 mana for this Skitterbeam. So Brotherhood's End. If we can... Oh, no. Opponent just farewells everything away. Nothing like the feeling of all of your work being erased for nothing. So let's Mightstone. We'll get a couple of cards out of it. There's a Topiary Stomper, which we can't play. All right. Okay, Karn makes a Power Stone. Well, good news, we're up to 9 mana for Skitterbeam. An opponent does a Thran Spider, which is fine by me, although they are going to be able to use that to start looking at the top of their deck. So I think we need to get rid of that before they can start putting mana into it. When it does the Wanderer. That's not really going to help, though. Just wanted to get in the opportunity to make a creature. I'll sometimes do that if I don't want to bother with the, passing of priority and all that. Okay, well, Brotherhood's End is going to hit everybody, so let's do that. I was hoping to kind of save that for get rid of those Power Stones, but I think we're going to be okay. See if there's any basics left for us to get with this Stomper. Okay, plenty. Alright, and we can cycle this Proving Ground, but I'm going to wait on that. Cityscape Leveler. Okay, fair enough. Well, we get a Power Stone. Not going to sneeze at that. Alright, opponent creates a Power Stone token of their own. Yep, we could Reliquary, but I think it makes more sense to just cycle this away. Alright, a lot of the small things in our deck. Unfortunately, no Leveler for us, so let's try to draw again. Bankbuster. Well, I think we're going to have to try to go a little wide here. Fable's going to help us dig more. pull a land out of our deck with this. And get this Bankbuster down. We've got 2 left. We can draw a card with it. Let's see, if I'm the opponent and I'm attacking this turn, probably going to hit our Fable with that attack trigger. Alright, opponent going to spend some mana and go looking with Karn. Good time for that ability. Plenty of mana left over to play whatever they want. Oh, and it's a portal. Alright. Well, that makes the opponent's decision much easier. Portal gets rid of our creatures. This attack trigger will likely get rid of our Fable. And then... Oh, they went with the Mightstone. Okay. Alright, well, let's draw here. We get a Visions, and we've got a Skitterbeam left over. So I don't think we need that mountain. Okay, well, I think we need to Skitterbeam. We definitely need a bit of a wide board here. Okay, so that's 3 things. Stomper can come down. Kind of effectively have haste with using it for the Bankbuster, so that's 16. Okay. Let's send 1 thing at Karn to get rid of that. Since we can't outright kill our opponent, we'll just send 12 over there. And then we'll be in a spot next turn where we've potentially got 16 power worth of creatures on board. Opponent pulls up our Stomper with the portal, and it is able to do things. Opponent draws with Skybridge. Stern Lesson. And they scoop it up. Wow, that was a close one. Good game.